أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله حق حمده والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي وأفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد اللهم صل صلاة كاملة وسلم سلاما تاما على سيدنا محمد الذي تنحل به العقد وتنفرج به الكرب وتقضى به الحوائج وتنال به الرغائب وحسن الخواتم ويستسقى الغمام بوجهه الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه في كل لمحة ونفس بعدد كل معلوم لك اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا وشاكرا وتوبة نصوحا اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع وقلب لا يخشع ودعاء لا يسمع وعمل لا يرفع ونفس لا تشبع رب زدني علما وفهما والحقنا بالصالحين والحمد لله رب العالمين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. First 10 days of Ramadan, where Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that it is awwaluhu rahmah awsatuhu maghfirah, and the last 10 akhiruhu aitqum minan nar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah is descending upon us. It is the best thing that a person could have, but a person has to be awake. A person has to be aware of what's going on. Otherwise, rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to come to us, but we need to be aware. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala include our names amongst those people who are not ghafil in this month, inshallah ta'ala. Fasting is not that you only do keep away from, abstain from food, drink and other desires, but your whole body is supposed to fast, inshallah ta'ala. Whole limbs, your eyes, your ears, your heart, your thoughts, everything has to fast. Inshallah ta'ala, as we said last time when we were here, that we will go through some of the sayings from the little booklet of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, Qaddasallahu sirrahu al-Aziz. Our intention, inshallah ta'ala, is to go through a couple of them. Couple of the sayings that I have introduced last time. Could anybody remember what was the first one? Anybody? Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to us, khaslatan, there are two attributes, two qualities. La shay'a afdal minhuma. There is nothing better in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than these two qualities. What were they? First one was al-iman billah. Second one was وَالنَّفْعُ لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. To have correct belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have the kalima tayyibah in your heart and live accordingly with ikhlas, with sincerity. Then, as part of your operation, daily operation, interaction, the best deed that you could ever perform is to be beneficial to the Muslims. And last time we also said the best benefit you can do is to teach ilm, tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to humanity. As we know, in the month of Ramadan, every good deed, every nafil, voluntary good deed carries the hasana of fard. If you perform any fard deed in the month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you by how many? 70 fara'id. 70 fard. As if you've done 70 times the same thing. I'm just imagining fasting is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Hadith Qudsi. So the best thing in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, says Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when after Iman is وَالنَّفْعُ لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ, to benefit others. We give sadaqah in the month of Ramadan so we can get fard hasan. Any sadaqah that we give, that mashallah, zakat that we give is multiplied by 70 times. Siyam is something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, it's only for me, and I shall only give the hasanat for it. So if, by definition, fasting is fard, so you get 70 times fard for one day, correct? And only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the hasanat for it, or it's a jackpot for us. So we need to, inshallah ta'ala, concentrate and find opportunities to help somebody. You can help somebody, any Muslim for that matter, by any means possible, as long as it is halal. As long as it is halal. So when you give something, you get the reward in Ramadan up to the level of fard. If it's fard, zakat, fasting, you get the reward of as if you get 70 fara'id. But the best deed, the best action, the best amal a person can pass or to help a Muslim with is to teach them their deen. Teach them their deen. Teach them their akhirah. Make them a conscientious Muslim, switched on Muslim, so that their ghafla is gone. Otherwise, there are Muslims, mashallah, dime a dozen. We all love them. We all, inshallah, we expect them to go to Jannah like everybody else. But Jannah is not cheap. And Jahannam is not created for nothing. It has a purpose. Jahannam is filled with people who are ghafil, jahil, who had the greatest opportunity of carrying the label of Islam with them, but they did not know the value of it. Therefore, we need to be extremely switched on when it comes to causing the best benefit to somebody. In the second part of the hadith, وَخَصْلَتَانْ لَا شَيْءَ أَخْبَثُ مِنْهُمَا, says Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are two other attributes. There is nothing worse than them in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing worse. What are they? الشِّرْكُ بِاللَّهِ وَالضَّرُّ بِالْمُسْلِمِينَ. To commit shirk, to say that Allah, there are more Allahs than one, or any other form, 3 is in 1, 1 in 3, or 7 is 7, or some council of some kind. Yeah, na'udhu billah, Allah is one. That's tawheed. If you say there is no tawheed, this is shirk. This is kufr. And the worst, most heinous deed in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is causing harm to a fellow Muslim in every possible manner. Not telling the truth, betraying a Muslim. They need your help and you don't come to their help, you don't come to their assistance. See, in the last 10 days of Ramadan, inshallah, this masjid and many other masajid in the world will go into a different mode. Last 10 days of Ramadan, where inshallah Laylatul Qadr is hidden in the last 10 days. It's called i'tikaf. I'tikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan is sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And many of the ummah will do it. But there are also i'tikaf that you can do outside the last 10 days of Ramadan. You can do i'tikaf anytime in the masjid. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, the cousin of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, was in the masjid, sitting in the masjid, in seclusion. He was in ibadah. Where? In the masjid of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Medina al-Munawwara. One person walked in. He came around and he said, "Oh, the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, please, I need your help. Can you help me? There are some people who are chasing me for their money. I don't have money to pay them back. I need more time. Can you please talk to them? Please, please." He said, "Okay, no problem." He comes out of the masjid. He takes his shoes, walks outside, And all of a sudden the man realizes what he has done. He says, I am really sorry. You were in i'tikaf. You were in i'tikaf. You came out for me. Then Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anh says, I swear by Allah, for the love of this person that is buried here, right here, that's referring to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I heard this from him. When you do 1 hour of i'tikaf, or 1 day in a different version of i'tikaf, in the masjid of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put 3 trenches between that person and Jahannam. And the width of that trench, each one is between Maghrib and Mashriq. In a different version, 500 years distance of walking. He says 3 of them. But he also said, to help a fellow Muslim in need is better than any i'tikaf in the masjid of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is not a joke. So, what is the best deed in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is to help a Muslim. What is the sin, the greatest sin in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after shirk? Is to cause harm to a fellow Muslim. Anyway, with your words, with your deeds, with your actions, with your behavior, financially or otherwise, or backbiting and namima, or gossiping behind his back, spreading the rumors about him, blasphemy, na'udhu billah. This is absolutely haram. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says the worst deed in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to cause harm to a fellow Muslim. The second hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is as follows. قالت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عليكم بمجالسة العلماء واستماع كلام الحكماء فإن الله تعالى يحيي القلب الميت بنور حكمته كما يحيي الأرض الميتة بماء المطر. صدق الله العظيم. صدق رسول الله فيما قال أو كما قال. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I urge you, I advise you to sit with the ulama, with the Islamic scholars, and listen to their speech. Listen to the speech of the fuqaha, the wise ones, earnestly from the heart. For verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give life to the dead heart with the nur, light of the hikmah, wisdom of the ulama that passes on to you, as he gives the dead soil with rainwater. You see a dead barren land, when the rain comes, everything becomes green and luscious. Human beings, by design, created with forgetfulness. We forget. Why is the reason Adam alayhi salam were kicked out from Jannah? Because of his forgetfulness. How long did he stay in Jannah? It was between Dhuhr and Asr. He couldn't even make it to Asr. Akhirah time to Asr. Yes? He forgot. Nasitu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. He has forgotten. He just slipped his mind. And he ate from that forbidden fruit in Jannah. It was all part of the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was brought into this world. We need to be reminded. One of the names of Quran is what? Al-Dhikr. Reminder. And if you look at the ayat of the Quran, if you read, certain stories are constantly repeated. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly says, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ أَفَلَا تَفَكَّرُونَ. Don't you think, don't you understand, don't you use your brains? We are, why? Forgetful. By nature. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, if you want to keep alive your spiritual heart, you need to sit in the company of the ulama. Al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya. They are the heirs to the office of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Talabul ilm faridatun ala kulli muslimin wa muslimin. Tonight the Shaykh was reading Who will be giving the ability to make shafa'ah on the Day of Judgment? In Surah Al-Imran, third page, on top. شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو. Yes, the Malaika was given. Who are the two shahids? Some Jewish scholars came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and says, tell us, who are the two shahids? If you tell us the truth, we'll become Muslim. The rabbis. That ayah came. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed. And they still didn't believe. They went. Yeah? So, ilm is the greatest rutbah, the greatest rank in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our body needs nourishment, food. Our heart needs knowledge. We talk about our spiritual heart as the center of our intelligence. Without the heart, we're just dead, a biological matter. We're walking zombies who look perfect from outside. The reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts any value into us, when our hearts work. If our hearts are dead, we have no value. We're ahl dunya. إن الله لا ينظر إلى أجسامكم ولا إلى صوركم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala under no circumstances looks at your outer shell. Whether you are from Africa, from Pakistan, from Japan, or blue-eyed England, British, some Scottish, doesn't matter. You're fat, skinny, rich, poor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at your outer forms, your jasad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at your hearts. Whether that heart is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through tawheed. And that heart behaves in a manner that is befitting to a Muslim. قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِيمُ. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, say I am a Muslim and be straightforward. Live, practice your deen. So when the heart receives this nourishment, this knowledge, heart is awake. The heart is alive. But this knowledge is not something, we're talking about the worldly, secular sciences. They are important, absolutely, but what the heart needs is the spiritual science. The science that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allows you to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilman nafi'a, this is called. Our religion, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, al-ilmu ilman. There are two types of knowledge. One is ilmun fil lisan. This is something that will be used as an evidence against the son of Adam on the Day of Judgment. The Google knowledge, data, information collection, all written or otherwise. The real knowledge is something that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thrusts into the heart of a believer, and that controls his behavior. Outer interaction is akhlaq. Yes? This is ilm al-nafi'. And this is the beneficial knowledge, says Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ilmun fil qalb, and this is the most beneficial knowledge. So when we are seeking knowledge in the company of the ulama, you are learning and your heart becomes alive. However, I don't mean to say that you're watching a television show where some academics, some professors are talking about an issue and you become enlightened in religion. That's not it. The method of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is suhbah method. And he says, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ وَإِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ بِالتَّحَلُّمِ. Ilm is acquired through sitting at the feet of an alim, a scholar, and you get that of him as much as you can. Hilm, on the other hand, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a quality of that forbearance, that clemency, that gentleness, can only be learned in the company of a person who's in control, who has that gentleness, who has that hilm. In other words, akhlaq, he's telling us, akhlaq can only be learned in the company of people who have good akhlaq. If your akhlaq stinks, you don't have to tell me anything else because your friends are all rotten. You tell me the company that you keep in your free time, where do you relax together? If there are salihin, good people, your akhlaq will be of that type. If it's not, your akhlaq stinks. That's why they said, tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also said that a person is upon the religion of his friends. As simple as this. Alim. Who's an alim? An armchair academic? Definitely not. Na'udhu billahi min dhalik. Imam al-Ghazali rahimahullah, he defines an alim. An alim must have 5 qualities. True alim. The one who has ilm al-nafi'ah. What is the first one? He must be first abid. When you go in the middle of the night, he's not snoring. He's in tahajjud. A person who is so dedicated to his worship. Ibadah. He loves his ibadah. Second, he must be zahid. A person who has detached his heart, spiritual heart, from the materialism, the love of this dunya, hubb dunya. Even is rich, he might have in his pockets or in his bank account, but not in his heart. He does not worship the dunya, he doesn't chase the dunya. Zahid. Third, he says he must be alim al-dunya, referring to, you ready? He must know all the Shari'i sciences, all the fiqh, all the hadith, all the Quran, all the required outer sciences, Zahiri, ulum, he should know 100%. So when you ask him a question on fiqh, he's there, Mufti mashallah. On tafsir, mashallah. He is the master. The fourth one, he says, he must be alimul akhirah. What does that mean? He must have mastered ilmul tasawwuf. He has to know what is spiritual psychology. He has fought with his own nafs. He has left the despicable state of nafsul ammara, then to nafsul mulhima, then to the lawama, then to mutma'inna, then to radiya, mardiya, and kamila or safiya. He has reached that level internally. So he is not only a doctor of the physical world, but he's also a doctor of the inner ailments, the disease of the heart. So when somebody comes to his feet to learn, he gives both sciences. He teaches both sciences. So he's a person, a murshid and mukammil. Not only he has reached the level of irshad, just to teach religion, but he also, with full perfection, he has the ability, like Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because he is the father of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, teach the deen in such manner which is complete. Ilmul ihsan is his territory. So mashallah. Then the fifth quality, everything that he does purely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Li wajhillah. Purely for Allah. You cannot buy him, you cannot sell him, he will not rub shoulders with the rulers to get into some maqam, to some prestige, or some position. He's not interested. And Imam Ghazali goes on to give examples of such people. He starts with Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Sufyan al-Thawri. He goes through the first generation, ulama says, all of these 5 qualities are fully established in their character. So when you are in the company of such people, their words will have some impact in your hearts. Your heart will begin to respond in such manner like the dead, barren land, when it receives rain, it begins to respond. We went through such time in our history. Some people were not allowed to give any khutbah, any talk in the masjid. It was illegal for them. Why? Are they doing something haram? No. They get up for khutbah, the mimbar, to speak only 3-4 minutes. About 35 janazah also leave the masjid that day. They cannot handle it because he speaks direct to the heart. That impact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates in the heart, from a pure person to the ones who are trying to fledgling pure ones, they respond in such manner, and some of them cannot take it. But if it's a person like me, who's got no inner, completely rubbish, when he speaks, everybody wants to go to home and sleep and rest. Yes? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala include me amongst those pure ones, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khair jaza. I think my time is up. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah into Ramadan. Allow us to sit in the company of the ulama and listen to the wise words of the hukama, and like the dead hearts are revived by the rain water, the dead barren lands revived by the barren lands revived by the water, the dead hearts can also be revived with the words and the ilm of the hukama and the wise ones and the ulama. And the definition of ilm is very simple according to Imam Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i says, knowledge, beneficial knowledge, equals قال Allah plus قال Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is the source of the knowledge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to come back to the sources. That's why our Shaykh asks us, read Quran every day. Learn the translation. Learn what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. He says, read hadith every day. He has given us the task of Riyadh al-Salihin, that read and learn. Because that's what Islam is. You can never learn Islam by some philosopher or some thinker. You need to learn Islam from the basic sources and the ones who are teaching those basic sources. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين لله تعالى الفاتحة.